In this video, we're gonna make some really small RC airplanes. And then, we're gonna make them even smaller. RC planes have come a long way. This is your standard RC airplane. It's a big size, but because of the advancement of electronics, they've gotten a little bit smaller. The year is 2026. Electronics, the brains of all these RC airplanes, has gotten a lot smaller and smaller. This is your average servo. It's pretty big. What is a servo? Well, inside you have a motor. We have the control board. This one is kind of burnt, which is why I hit it with the hammer. We have a potentiometer, and we have gears, and this is connected so it has feedback, which drives the output arm that control all sorts of things, such as throttle and engines to flight surfaces on an RC airplane. They basically make it an RC airplane, an RC airplane. Now, because the servos are so big, they require a big airplane to carry them around because of all this weight. But hold on. Servos themselves have gotten smaller. Like, look at this one. This is a micro servo. So that is pretty small, but Horizon Hobbies, which is a company that makes RC airplanes, has released a huge line of ultra micro RC airplanes for the last 10 years or so. Now, is this thing really ultra micro? I think we can do something better than that because, like, yeah, it's smaller than this airplane right here, but I think we can make RC airplanes smaller than this. Here's one of the microplanes called Ultra Micro Series. This is like an all-in-one unit. It basically has the controls for the flight controls, such as the elevator and rudder, and it also controls the motor and deals with the battery voltage. I have an extra one of these little doohickeys around, and this thing weighs 4.3 grams. It's kind of heavy. I'm gonna try to use the smallest battery I can find. Little 100 milliamp single cell LiPo, which weighs 0.25 grams. For an airplane that's RC controlled, we're gonna do this design. We have basically a rudder and a motor. And this is the minimum I think we can get away with for carrying this weight. So our first airplane's done. It weighs about 7.5 grams, a little about more than 6 inches, which is a little bit above average, I guess. It's got a pretty small wingspan, a lot smaller than the airplane that we took this out of. Let's see if it flies. Test flight. Test crash. Let's try again. Look at that, it flies great. Tiny airplane. Okay, so we made this little biplane type thing. It's skinned out of this foam. Did you wonder how I skinned this foam? This is a callback to an old video. We did this thing called walk-along gliders, which were super lightweight airplanes that I pushed along using this air draft lift thing to kind of make an infinite flying glider. Really cool video, you can check it out. Anyways, I needed to recreate that slicer, but I'm gonna actually make this one a little bit more fine-tuned. Foam off my airplane, plug in my little servo tester. So if you guys want to build this thing at home, you basically need a variable kind of voltage regulator thing. I think a benchtop power supply should be able to do the same thing. If not, I'm using a RC Hobby speed controller that runs on 3S or 11.1 volts. And it just basically PWMs it into this wire to get the desired temperature. I'm going to set it to about 1690, which is like above half throttle. And I kind of adjust the height of it with some little shims to bring the wires up and down and slice the foam through it. All right, ooh, look at that. There you have it, a thinly sliced sheet of foam. We could probably set this gauge even lighter. Let's set it lighter and see how thin we can make this sheet. Oh, look, it came out. It's so thin. Oh, it's got like some static. It won't leave my hands alone. It's so light. Really, these are super easy to make. You can even find some online calculators to calculate your voltage for the amount of nichrome wire you have for the resistance you need. How much they weigh? It doesn't weigh anything. Thank goodness I have a drug scale. 0.3 grams. That's insane. It's so stupidly light. You can slice all sorts of foams, like some of the deck prawn stuff I got. It looks like fish skin, like a freshly filleted fish. And some of this green insulation foam to get different weights and thicknesses of foam. This thing works so good. I'm actually really happy with this. I can get like 1,000,000 sheets of foam out of this block. Look at that. I think this is going to be the heaviest. 0.44 grams. It doesn't even weigh a single gram. Okay, how much does this Dollar Tree foam board stuff weigh? 0.47. It's actually a little heavier. I did not expect that. All right, well, now that we've got the styrus slicer working, I can actually build some airframes now. You know, it's pretty cool. We can actually fly it around the shop. Not too bad. All right, that plane was okay, but I think we could do better. So I made this one. Oh, wait, I should have kept that. But you can kind of see how big it used to be. Because I said we only need 2 channels, rudder and the throttle, this thing has 3. Let's delete one of these little tiny components off of here, make it even lighter. And there you have it. We remove the motor. It's actually really cool how these work. This thing has a little wiper on it that moves, and that's how this little board senses which way to drive the motor and how far to drive the motor to control the surfaces. New weight. 3.4 grams. That's like 0.6 grams lighter. That's crazy. And now let's make an airplane even smaller than the one we've just made. Alright, for this design, I don't think we need the biplane wings because they're a little bit lighter. One pretty large main wing, and also very large elevator service on the backside. This should be pretty small. It's already smaller than the last one. It got smaller. This is like 70% of the size. I think the battery is holding us back here. This is a tiny 100 milliamp hour battery, and I am intrigued because I think we can find smaller cells. So I was browsing Amazon blowout sale center where they sell sorts of garbage that nobody buys. In that store, I found a removal instrument electromagnetic insulation antifreeze snowmeter. The hell is that? We have this little doohickey, a solar panel, a switch, and a micro USB. You turn it on and it flashes. This is actually an anti-theft alarm that you install in your car. And inside our magic box is a really crappy solar cell. I believe this is like an amorphous silicon type cell, which is simply designed to charge this lithium battery, which is what you want, and flash the little silly LED. So we cover up the panel, and it flashes. And that's all it does. We're gonna steal the cell. So here's our little baby cell. So I went on Amazon and bought 2 of these for like $20, and I got this for 25 cents. This is why I love going to stores and like recycling junk electronics and getting something completely useful. I think it's the exact same 40 milliamp hour cell. We're gonna use this. 1.2 grams. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Especially compared to our fat little cell from our off-the-shelf thing, which is 2.6 grams. It's like half the weight. So this is basically what we started off with, which is basically a larger battery. This is a little bit on the larger side. They do make them a little bit smaller, about like 150 milliamp to 100 milliamp hour, which is basically what this really small one is. And that's generally what you'll find, because this is what you're going to find in most toys or any of the ultra microplanes. This is the specialty one I bought off Amazon. This is a 40 milliamp hour battery, and this is what I got from the special supplier of micro airplanes. Unfortunately, this thing just doesn't work. I mean, I plugged it in, and it basically made the propeller turn on for like 2 seconds and then died. And this is what we harvested out of that little solar electronic doohickey. And let's see how it flies. Oh yeah! Oh, it flies! Hey, this thing flies really not too bad. It's still directionally controllable with just the rudder surface and throttle for power. And it handles pretty well. Alright, so we have this plane, but I forgot my battery, so we have to use a larger one. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to cut this battery apart and make it smaller. Not the battery itself, though.
That one flies the best. Oh my god, that thing's got power and a half.
The battery's dead, though. At this point, we've made a plane that's pretty small, that uses these little Park Zone or E-Flight or whatever Horizon Hobby electronics you want to call them, but this footprint is kind of large. I wonder if we go online, can we find something even smaller? This is like the tiniest one I could find online. I think they make it even smaller, but I'm gonna probably break this because I have no experience working with micro dinky electronics like this. It's way smaller than this. Look at the motor size. It's like half. It probably weighs half too. It's so dinky. Alright, well, if you want to see how much this thing weighs on the scale, let's put it on the scale. It weighs just 1 gram. There's basically 5 of these and that. This little doohickey basically does the steering, and it does the receiving. It also does the speed controlling, but I don't really have anything to picture that right now. But you get the idea. It is so minuscule compared to the old stuff from the 80s and 90s. Man, this printed circuit board is super tiny. But, you know who else makes printed circuit boards? PCBWay, our sponsor for this video. You've probably heard of PCBWay, and I've used them in the past, such as CNCing these giant aluminum blocks and 3D printing these giant boat pieces for a future video. It's super easy. You basically upload your design to the website, and then bam, you get an instant quote, pay for it, you get it in your doorstep in a few weeks. But they also make printed circuit boards, and if you didn't know, they have a new design service where they can help you design the perfect circuit board for your project. You simply just fill out the quote on the website, such as are you going to use a printed circuit board indoors, outdoors, and basically they can help create your perfect circuit board. You know, they can even make stuff just like this. I haven't really had a need to do that just yet for myself, but it's nice knowing PCBWay has this really cool service where you can actually create things just like this. So if you guys are looking for making your own projects a reality, such as CNC machining, 3D printing, injection molding, sheet metal fabrication, and circuit board design, PCBWay is your all-in-one stop solution to making your dreams a reality. So if you're interested, check out the link down below, and you can save with the discount code PCBWay-PeterSchriepel10 to get $10 off orders over $30. Anyways, let's make stuff with this tiny circuit board. We're going to make a plane that just uses 2 motors for differential steering and just throttle to go up and down, and this tiny little board. I'm going to stay away from servos because it's starting to get really hard to make anything at this scale. So in other words, we have to basically make a twin-engine airplane to take advantage of the steering and throttle situation. Really not too bad. And we also have these really tiny coreless motors. These are 3mm direct drive coreless motors. 1 gram for the flying stuff. 1 gram for the battery. It is 2 grams. That whole thing right there, that's the control for the airplane. For this, I'm actually going to challenge myself. I'm going to cut these parts out with my laser and then very delicately fold them over and assemble this fuselage. I know a lot of tiny airplanes you can just make wings and a tail set. You know, that basically passes the goal for an airplane. But I'm going to push myself to make this tiny little cargo airplane because I love cargo airplanes and I want to make it have a real fuselage. Unfortunately, the only thing I could really find to bond this stuff is some hot glue. I know they make foam-safe super glues, but I just don't have any, so attaching the wings is generally the same thing. Just kind of give this a little bit of the airfoil shape, attach them, and glue the motors on. And just like that, in about 30 minutes, we have a whole airplane. That's really not too bad. Oh, I also made 2 of them. Check them out. This servo has a little tiny coreless motor, but the motor I have powering this airplane is smaller than the single motor that drives this entire aileron surface. That's pretty small. As far as coreless motors, I think this is the exact small size you can get, at least reasonably. This is a 3mm coreless motor. Really small. I need you to fly something.
Yeah.
Here, could you fly it?
I can.
Here, can you fly that?
Oh, holy smokes.
This is 2-channel. Yeah, twin engine. It does fly, but I've never had a really good place to fly it in, so we're gonna try to fly it here. We have these sweet little RC airplanes. Well, let's see how they fly. Turn. Let's go. Flying them is just like a dream. Actually, not really. It's kind of more of like a nightmare. It's really tiny, and if you sneeze, they break, and if you step on them, well, they're gone. Sometimes they do crash, and something they're dying. Other than that, they fly great. They handle just like any other RC airplane that's just 2-channel differential steering, except they're just really small. It's kind of fascinating watching them fly through the air. They handle fairly well. I'm pretty impressed with them. Check this thing out. This is the Aquila 20 from Beta FPV. They sent me this thing to check out. It's basically an all-in-one FPV kit, but it's fully HD. I've had a ton of fun with this, chasing around and filming all these airplanes. And we even use it to rescue this plane from the ceiling. It's a great solution if you're looking for an all-in-one kit getting started in FPV. If you want to check it out, there's a link down in the description below.
The slowest crash in history.
This plane is super small. Like, it's honestly a bit of a challenge. Not for me to fly, but for my camera guy, Dave, to film. As you've noticed, most of the shots are kind of in and out of focus because the plane is just so hard to see. They're also recorded in slow-mo just to kind of get you some more of this cool visual B-roll you can look at, because honestly, they just zip right by. But what if we don't care about making an aesthetically pleasing airplane? What if we wanted to make something that just barely flies with these two motors that you could consider an airplane? So I made this. It's this tiny little wing, just bare minimum I think of what we need. It doesn't really even have a fuselage, more like a crumple zone, and it has a little tiny V-tail just to kind of add some length to it. Yet the wingspan on this is tiny. Flying this thing is an absolute nightmare. Let's launch it. And it crashed. Oh, and it crashed again. Hey, look, it crashed some more. And finally, we have it able to fly around in a circle and actually do some laps in a controllable manner. Oh, it's still a little squirrely and all that. I don't know if we make anything smaller in this, like, to be honest. Like, with these electronics, this is pushing the limits of, like, barely controllable. And there you have it, the world's smallest RC air... Actually, it's not the world's smallest RC airplane. It's the smallest I could make. But really, the record goes to a fellow by the name of Joe Malinchak, who has the world's smallest airplane. It has a 1.5-inch wingspan, which is a lot smaller than mine. Hey, look, it even has a video.
Oh, look at that. That is awesome.
Did you see it? It's so small.
Pretty good.
So it doesn't look that visually appealing to make an airplane any smaller than what I currently have, but really, the talent is what I lack. So therefore, I will not be making an airplane any smaller than this because this was enough of a headache. Plus, it's really hard to film. So, Joe Malinchak, you can keep your record. I can't do this. We had a ton of fun making some really tiny airplanes, and these are pretty small airplanes. Anyways, let me know what you guys want to see me make next.